But
Yeah,
yes,
she hasn't written anything in the group.
no. Well, so
No.
just in case. That's why I sent you the quotation, Alicia, that I sent from Macbeth. It's because when Faulkner is describing Joe Christmas's mind, he uses again the expression "sound and fury," quoting Macbeth.
Ah,
No,
this is from Shakespeare.
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
The way in which his mind is uh, connecting with the context, with the exterior. Yes, everything that is around him is sound and fury. Mm? Uh, like when Macbeth said a similar thing, no, that we are only actors coming and going, yes, in the stage, and
The stage.
everything is surrounded only by sound and fury, the sound and the fury. So, uh,
I can't imagine how much I regret not having been able to be with you all those years when you read Shakespeare.
yes, yes, we enjoyed it a lot. Uh,
I can imagine.
uh, okay, last week we finished chapter 12 when
Wow.
you remember when Christmas realized that he is carrying the gun, the pistol, in his right hand, no? And of course, he did not kill Joanna with the pistol because we know that Joanna had been decapitated with a razor, no, con la navaja. So why is he having the?
She did
Sorry.
not. She did not have
May
any
I ask
shock.
you, Joanna was the old woman,
Well, not old. She was.
the nigger's lover.
Yes, that one. Yes, that one. The one that Joe had as a
Okay, okay.
lover, and then
Yeah, she was decapitated.
that's
Yes.
right. But when he reacts, he escapes. He escapes. And after some time, he goes, he stops a car. And the car, in the car, there was a boy and a girl. They, stopped the car. He got on the car. And the girl is very nervous, practically crying, and finally, when they stop and he leaves the car, he gets off the car, he realizes that he has been carrying the pistol, Joanna's pistol, in his hand all the
Ah, in his hand. Oh my God.
and so he understands why the girl was so terrified, no?
Hysterical. Was
Hysterical.
hysterical, the
He was
girl.
hysterical. And he says, now, now I understand why she was like that, because he has not seen or has not realized that he was carrying the gun. He only
Yes.
realizes this when he leaves the car. Now,
I have the sensation that everything that they do is against himself, no?
yes, yes, of course, yes, yes. Uh, Now, in the next chapters, in chapter 13 and 14, when we follow Christmas, he escapes all the time. He escapes. He walks and walks and walks. Uh, we can see his mind, and we can see that he feels that he has always been escaping from his own mind, from himself. And that is why there are some moments when he doesn't understand what he's doing or what is happening around him. It is as if he loses conscience, no? Wait a second, because yes, Claudia is here. Okay, yes, now Claudia is here. So, hello, Claudia.
Hi.
We
You're muted.
cannot hear you, because you are uh, silenced, Claudia. So, um, eh, okay, now you're here because Alicia has come back. So we are, except for Malena, who has internet problems. The others are all here. Good.
But I didn't read.
Sorry.
No,
Well,
no.
But
of
you
course.
can hear.
I didn't do the homeworks. I'm a little lost. But
Okay. That is
next
why.
week I hope.
That is why I'm trying to retell a bit. So that's why yesterday I sent you this analysis that is based on Bakhtin and the question of polyphony, yes, or heteroglossia. I mean, both words can be used indistinctly at this stage. And what I mean, the idea is that Faulkner, you remember that last week you said that Teresa said that that Faulkner doesn't tell us everything.
Yes.
Teresa said that Faulkner doesn't tell us everything that happens. He leaves blanks here and there,
Yes. And he hides, always he hides something.
information, no? And
Yes, information.
we try to complete the information from different sources, from the people, from Byron Bunch, from Hightower. I mean, we get the information from different sources, but we don't know if that information is true or not.
Yes.
No, because it isn't the author, the one who is telling us the story. There are different people, and we don't know if these people are.
We don't know who to trust.
No, we don't know who to trust, like in real life. Because I mean, the same happens to us in our normal life. We have information,
Yes, exactly.
and we.
But this is very original in a novel, but because always in novels they have a narrator who tell the truth.
Exactly.
In this case, no.
Exactly. And this is why, I mean, that the type of novel where the author tells us the truth, as Alicia said, was the 19th century novel. Faulkner is a modernist. He starts the 20th century, and he starts with this idea that the information is never complete. And we have to believe what we want to believe or not.
Yes, yes.
No? So
It's what happens in real life.
exactly.
Yes, the memory, the ideology,
Only God
the
knows
gossip,
everything.
it's a
Yes.
lot of different things that
Exactly. And see how in the case of even the death, Joanna Burden's death, as we discussed last class, we don't know if Joe killed her. Everybody said that he had killed her, but we don't know because we never see the scene. Faulkner doesn't tell us. We stop at the moment she fires, Joanna fires the gun, and she misses the shot. But that is the end of the scene. And then afterwards, we find that the woman is dead and with her throat cut off. So what happened?
I would like to reread that chapter. Do you remember
Yes.
what
Yes.
chapter it is?
Yes, that is the end of chapter 11. Wait a second, because
No, 12.
No.
at the end
12.
of chapter 12 is when he realizes that he has the gun. But the death itself,
To be before.
This part that you discussed about the razor and
no. Wait a second, Vanessa. In chapter 12, at the end of chapter 12, there is, before the end, more or less 1 or 2 pages before, there is a space. Chapter 12 at the end, there is a space.
yes.
Standing in the middle in the
Ahí
continuum.
Ahí está. Before that is the scene of the killing or of, well, and
We hear the shot.
if
That's
you
when
go,
we hear the shot.
the shot, if you go to the last paragraph before that space, are you there, Alicia?
I'm at the end of chapter 12.
Okay, go
The last
before.
paragraph.
No,
is a long paragraph.
No.
Alicia,
Before
Alicia,
that.
this is your book. You have
Yes.
this book.
Yeah.
Then page 209 to
Ah, 209. Standing in the middle of the road.
Before that,
Yes.
the paragraph before that.
No, he said.
Ahí está. No, he said. Then he saw her arms. This is Joe and Joanna, no? She is in bed. Then he saw her arms unfold and her right hand come forth from beneath the shawl. You remember that she was in bed, covered by a shawl. It held an old-style single-action cap and ball revolver, almost as long and heavier than a small rifle. But the shadow of it and of her arm and hand on the wall did not waver at all. The shadow of both monstruos, the cocked hammer monstruos. La pistola está, ¿cómo se dice? Martillada, ¿sí?
Ya, sí.
The cocked hammer monstruos, back hooked and viciously poised like the arched head of a snake. Entonces ella le tira para atrás no sé, el seguro, ¿sí? Como para ya disparar. It did not waver at all, and her eyes did not waver at all. They were as still as the round black ring of the pistol muzzle. But there was no fear in them, no fury. They were calm and still as all pity and all despair and all conviction. But he was not watching them. He was watching the shadowed pistol on the wall. He was watching when the cocked shadow of the hammer flicked away. So he's looking at the pistol, not at her eyes, and there is this, the hammer flicked away, o sea, el tiro se disparó. That is the end of the scene. We don't know what happened. We may, if we up to this, we may presume that Joanna killed Joe. We may, but then in the next, after the space, it says, standing in the middle of the road, his right hand lifted full in the glare of the approaching car, he had not actually expected it to stop. So we know that Joe is alive. The shot, she missed the shot, ¿verdad? But what happened to Joanna? We don't know. We don't know. So then we learn when there is the fire and the man who was passing by enters the house and goes upstairs, she finds the dead body, her dead body with the throat, the cat's throat.
And he has no blood inside him.
Claro. Entonces, that is why I sent you all this explanation last week, yes, of this writer who questions that he has killed Joanna. Because he says, if we can reproduce this situation with the time when he hit with the chair his foster father, no? What did he do? He hit the man, McKitchen, with the chair, and he ran away.
And he didn't know if he had killed his foster
Exactly.
father.
He didn't know if he had killed the foster father. He ran away.
Okay.
And probably, in this situation, he probably hit her and ran away. The same. So we don't know because...
yes, but not decapitate her because...
because
if he had decapitated her, he had to have a lot of
blood.
A lot of blood inside because...
exactly. And before that, in the same paragraph, but before, when he enters the room, the first thing he does is to leave the razor on the table. No?
Yes.
And he leaves the place, he has the gun in his right hand.
Exactly.
Yes, he has still the gun in his hand.
Go to the previous paragraph that says, no, he said, he stood over the bed, where the before the one we read.
Yeah.
He stood over the bed, yes.
He held the razor in his hand. Ven, acá tiene la navaja.
Yeah, at that moment he had a
Espera,
razor.
espera. But it was not open yet. But she did not speak again, and then seemed to walk away from him. It went to the table, and his hands laid the razor on the table and found the lamp and struck the match. She was sitting up in the bed, her back against the headboard. Over her nightdress, she wore a shawl drawn down across her breasts. Her arms were folded upon the shawl, her hands hidden from sight. He stood at the table, they looked at one another. ¿Ves? O sea, él había dejado la navaja. And now, what did he do? He went back to the table, took the razor, cut her throat, and then escaped. We don't know. Because the moment when he kills Joanna is not here.
Right. My question was, because as I was absent last class, I watched the first recording. I could not
Watch the second.
see the second part. And I stopped at the first page of chapter 12. So I haven't read chapter 12 and I missed what you said in the second part last class.
Okay.
But my question was, where is it that we see Lucas Birch in the chapter talking to the man, saying that there was no one upstairs?
That is at the beginning.
Yes, but there is no mention of the razor.
No.
Nothing.
No. So that's why this critic that I sent you last week says that perhaps the one who came back to the house was Lucas Birch, and perhaps the one who killed Joanna was Lucas Birch, because he says Joe must probably he must have taken the gun from Joanna. No. Hit her probably on her head, left her unconscious, and ran away because he's having the pistol in his hand.
Yes.
And he is shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He's in shock. Yes.
He's in shock because when he goes to the road, he's having the pistol in his hand and he doesn't know that he's having it in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why all this information that we don't have, why do we believe that he killed Joanna? Because Lucas Birch said it, because the sheriff said it, because the people said it, but all the information we have is second-hand information.
Yes.
Okay? So that's what...
And because they suspect that he's a nigger.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is why yesterday I sent you this analysis using Bakhtin's theory of polyphony, etc. Because, in fact, what Faulkner is introducing here is the possibility of having a lot of narrators.
Yes.
We have information from a lot of people. They are all narrators. They are all like the author. The author is not more important than the others.
He's one of the narrators.
One of the narrators, yes. And the reader is another one, because this critic I sent you, who suspects that the real murderer was Lucas Birch, he is a reader and he has his own idea, his own, and we read it and we say, yes, it could be like that. So what I mean is that we are all authors in the story. We all take part in the story, adding information, accepting some information and not different information. So we are all taking part in the creation of the novel.
Yes.
Yes, that's why
I think that is the most fascinating thing about the whole book.
Yes,
because it's as if we belong to the same society.
Yes.
We are also listening to gossip and gossiping ourselves about what we believe.
Yes, yes,
From what we take from others, we invent a new story, or
Yeah.
we come to conclusions when we don't really know. We have
Yeah.
never even met people, but this is how gossiping works, in fact.
Yeah. That's so true.
yes.
Yes.
And I mean this is really really fascinating, because
Yeah.
we have many possibilities and we believe the one we want to believe. But it is surprising how we all think that Joe is the murderer without any proof.
We assume it because of the same beliefs that the people in the story had, that because he was strange, he was half black, whatever.
Yes, yes.
Right? He was an outcast, so we suspect
And
him and not the other one.
because we read it in chapter 1 or 2, we read it when the fire is there and we are there. We are witnesses to the fire. No, we arrive at the scene together with this man and his wife, who see the fire, and they stop the wagon and they get down and they enter the house, and we are there and we say, oh, the woman is decapitated. Who killed her? Joe Christmas. So we are all, we are members of this community of witnesses.
Yes, and we never know who made the fire. The fire is a mystery too.
Another thing, yes, and that's why this writer, the one I sent you, this critic, says that probably Lucas Birch set out the fire to
Maybe or not.
cover what he
Or
did.
maybe the killer, or maybe Birch was the killer.
Yes, and if he
Or
was the
something.
killer, perhaps he set the house on fire to cover what he had done.
Yes,
To
the
destroy
crime
the evidence.
disappears.
Claro. So you see that there are a lot of possibilities that we have to follow, and that there are many voices in the story, many
Yeah.
different voices. No, so in this sense, Faulkner is a great writer, because we fall into his trap.
Yeah, we
Yes,
get
this
carried
is
away with all the
incredible.
gossiping.
This is,
Yes, yes, we are also to blame. Yes, for this. So.
We should go back and reread the part, because we read it with now we have all that information, we get carried away, perhaps we don't really remember what happened,
Yes,
and so we think
yes.
we remember and we believe that,
exactly.
and so we should go
Yes.
back to that moment when we read and see if now we can discover any hint.
Exactly.
It's not a book to read
Yes.
in a
No.
train.
No.
Yeah.
No. And then you start thinking, okay, I when I read that, perhaps I didn't see something. So yes. Well, this is connected with the other topic in the novel, the question of memory and believing. You remember that I stressed that point. What is it
Yes.
that we remember, and what is it that we believe? We believe that we remember something, but perhaps we are wrong.
Yes.
So, Vanessa, you said we think that we remember the beginning. No, but perhaps what you remember is what you believe you remember, not what you really read.
Right.
Yes, it happens.
Yes.
Right.
I went back and I found
And you
no
went back.
clues. Or
This is
That-
very common if you
That's what I
remember.
wanted to do.
there are clues
That's-
that come later on.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
I as I haven't gone
Yes.
back, I wanted to know this. I mean, if there was any clue, so I wanted to know which chapter it was, because now I don't even remember the chapter.
Okay. Okay. But well, in chapter 12, when we finished chapter 12 last week, I stressed the point of the end of the chapter, just the end, when he says, "For her and for me." His arm, the last sentence practically, "For her and for me," he said, his arm came back and through. He heard the pistol crash once through undergrowth. Then there was no sound again, for her and for me.
Because she wanted to kill him too, to kill him and kill her,
exactly.
and to commit suicide.
Exactly. So when the pistol had 2 bullets,
Yes.
one was shot when she shot him, but she missed, no? And the other one was still in the pistol. When he threw the pistol to the floor, he heard the pistol crash. So the shot apparently went out, okay? And he said, for her and for me. So he, in a way, understands that she had planned to kill him and then to kill herself, because she had said we should be better. Both of us should be better dead. She had said that. So she wanted
Yes.
to kill him and then to kill herself.
That's why she prayed, perhaps before.
Claro.
Let's pray.
Claro. She wants him to pray. She wants him to kneel, yes, and pray. And he says no. And she says, well, we'd better be dead. So her plan was most probably to kill him and then to kill herself. And she couldn't kill him.
And at the beginning of chapter 13,
Yes.
within 5 minutes after the countryman found the fire, is the fire?
Claro, we
Yes.
go. Claro, we go back.
Ah, yes.
Complex the reading, because Fogler goes back and
Yes,
forth.
forward back. Yes, yes.
Yes. And now we are again at the fire. Yes, when the story begins, let's say.
Yes.
Yes. And the people are all there looking at the fire. For them, it is a great attraction, no? And in that, the place is, of course, full of people. They are all watching the fire. And at the end of this first paragraph, it says, an anonymous Negro crime committed not by a Negro, but by Negro. I don't know if you can see that at the end of the paragraph.
Sorry,
The first one.
where are you reading, Ines?
The first one.
Claro, chapter 13, the first paragraph, at the end of that paragraph.
Yes.
At the end, okay. They come to...
Yes, I underlined that too.
You underline that. It says an
Yes.
anonymous Negro crime.
Yes. Committed not by a Negro, but
No,
by
at the end of the first paragraph.
Yes,
yes,
anonymous.
And then send the body away. Hide in the
Anonymous
pool sink.
Negro crime.
It is 6 lines before the end. An anonymous Negro crime committed not by a Negro, but by Negro. Negro with capital letter.
The race, no? Maybe.
It was an anonymous Negro crime committed not by the Negro, but by Negro.
What is the difference between capital letter or not?
Claro,
What is the meaning?
it is, this is, they think, no? This is what the people there think, that this was a crime committed not by a Negro, but by Negro. But by,
Okay.
no?
By the entity.
Sorry?
By the entity.
I don't understand very well
The sentence. Because they,
not by a Negro, an special Negro.
yes, but by
Negro.
Negro as
Negro
By
with
the
the capital letter.
As an
In
entity.
general,
Claro.
all the...
es un crimen.
Negros are attacked
Sorry, Teresa, I couldn't understand.
by Negro race, because Negroes are killers.
Exactly.
That's what,
That is the idea, claro. No es de un negro en particular, es los negros que cometen esto. Esto lo hacen solo los negros.
Esto lo hace la negritud, digamos, la
claro.
negridez, no sé,
Sí.
claro.
They don't know anything about Joe Christmas at this point. They don't know anything about Joe Christmas. They don't know that Christmas was living there, nothing. But
she was not, they didn't like her because she was in favor of the Negroes.
exactly.
So they wanted to hear that she had been raped before dying and after dying also,
Yes.
to be
Yes.
satisfied.
Claro.
She had got what she had earned. Let's say,
Yes,
helping
yes.
Negros, something like that.
This was her punishment, because she
Right.
Yes.
she lived with the Negroes, and so the Negroes killed her.
And she
Yes,
was
but before her death, she was criticized to protect niggers.
Exactly.
Right.
So what the community think is that this is her punishment. She likes Negroes, and so now she is killed.
Yeah, Negroes killed her.
Claro. See? So this is more or less the idea, no? Before
She deserved it.
she deserved
She
it.
deserved it.
Yes. And this is before they hear about Joe Christmas. They don't know anything about Joe.
Yes, yes,
So,
before.
I mean, the general feeling. If she is killed, she has been killed. Well, obviously, it has to be a Negro. No.
Right.
Okay. And in the next paragraph, then there was nothing for them to look at except the place where the body had lain on the fire. Yes. Because the body is there, and the people look at the body because this morbo, and to see the dead body, and the sheriff asks the deputies to take the body away. So now the body is not there. They can only look at the fire. And I underlined a line that this Faulkner writes so well. More or less 5 lines after the beginning, it says, with that the people are looking at the fire, no? With that same dull and static amaze which they had brought down from the old fetid caves, no? Have you found the lines? It is 4 lines
Yes.
after the beginning.
Yes.
With that same dull and static amaze which they had brought down from the old fetid caves. No? So this fascination that we have for fire, coming from the ancestors who lived in the caves, no?
Yes.
And this the
Prehistory, no? Prehistory, I don't know. Prehistory.
yes, when people discovered fire. So this is, I mean, I love the way Faulkner writes. He's very,
Yeah.
very poetic. And then in the next paragraph, the paragraph begins with, but there wasn't anybody. There wasn't anybody. Anybody for what? To crucify. Look at the end of the
Crucified.
it says, in their pockets began to canvass about for someone to crucify. They are looking for somebody for the murderer, for somebody to to blame. No, ¿A quién crucificamos? There wasn't anybody. She had lived such a quiet life, attended so to her own affairs, that she bequeathed to the town in which she had been born and lived and died, a foreigner, an outlander, a kind of heritage of astonishment and outrage, for which, even though she had supplied them at last with an emotional barbecue, look at this.
Wonderful.
No, a Roman holiday almost.
A Roman
So-
holiday almost. They would never forgive her and let her be dead in peace and quiet, no? Entonces,
Yes.
and then not that. That these two words are repeated later. Not that. Peace is not.
Entonces, el cuerpo no se quemó, claramente.
No, el cuerpo no se quemó. No, claro, because when the man and the woman appeared, yes, but and they see the fire from the road, they come and they tell the people to go and look for the firemen. So if this man and this woman had passing by, probably the house would have burnt down completely. But
Claro,
Okay,
the
okay.
house, all the house,
Claro.
completely.
But the man goes to the house, goes up the stairs, takes the body up the stairs. So the body, claro,
Okay, okay.
por eso
Sorry.
es el tema.
The body.
Porque
Ay,
el hombre la trae afuera, si no se hubiera quemado, ¿sí? Claro. Entonces,
Correcto.
here it says, not that, peace is not that often. And it is interesting to see how Christmas is always asking for peace. When he thinks, he says, the only thing I want is peace, no? Hightower also says or thinks in some of his thoughts, all I want is peace, no? So these characters who are so tortured are looking for peace. And who is the other one who also says, I only want a little peace? That is Lena, no? And Byron Bunch, when Byron gets the cabin for Lena and takes Lena to the cabin to wait for the delivery for the baby, he also says she needs a little peace. So everybody in the novel is looking for peace, but it is not given to them. They cannot find peace.
Yes,
And
that's true.
that's why it says not that, peace is not that often. And 7 or 8 lines below, it says again, not that. Not that.
Not that. Yes.
Because the other made nice believing. Again, this question of believing. The other made nice believing. What do you get from this? The other made nice believing. It's interesting, no?
The other is
The other made
Made.
nice believing.
yes, but who is the other?
Yeah, the other people.
The other.
La
We may
otra gente.
we may believe that there is
Mhm.
peace, but there is not any peace. Es solo algo que te hacen creer que podés conseguir la paz.
Right.
Made nice believing. And again, this question of believing and reality, no? What we believe or what we or what really happens. So at the end of that long paragraph, in italics it says, "Who did it? Who did it? Is he still free? Is he? Is he?" So people asking questions, no? Who did this? Who is he? The sheriff is there looking at the situation. This sheriff is quite a character too, because he's very calm. He doesn't believe he sees. He tries to keep certain, let's say, state of mind.
Objective.
Yes, he tries to remain objective. Yes, and at the end of that paragraph, he asks, "A white man," the sheriff said. Found it.
Where in this paragraph? The
At
same
the,
paragraph?
at the end of the paragraph that we were reading finishes, "Who did it? Who did it?" No?
Because
Yes.
because
And the
the
sheriff also started.
person appeared and says he saw brown.
Exactly.
The countryman appears now and he says that he saw a white man.
He
That's
saw
why
a white man. Exactly. After that paragraph, Alicia, the sheriff says, "A white man, there is a die."
Yes, I saw it.
Claro. Because
White man.
the man who discovers the fire tells the sheriff that when he arrived at the house, there was a white man there trying to avoid his going upstairs. No, You remember?
But this white man is not.
Lucas Birch.
I don't remember the name.
Lucas Birch. Claro.
Lucas Birch.
Lucas Birch. But remember that the man gets into the house and Lucas Birch is there, drunken, completely drunk.
Yes.
And so he tells the man, no, don't go upstairs. There is nobody upstairs. But the man goes upstairs all the same. When he comes back with the dead body, the man is not there any longer. Lucas Birch is not there. And so this man tells the sheriff, when I arrived, there was a man, a white man. And the sheriff says, a white man? And he answers, yes, sir, blumping around in the hall like he had just finished falling down the stairs. Tried to keep me from going upstairs at all. Told me how he had already been up there and it wasn't nobody up there. And when I come back down, he was gone. So, up to now, the only suspect is a white man. The sheriff...
But he knows that they had a corpse...
who knows?
In the other... because why? She said...
Bueno, ahí está. ¿Por qué Lucas le dice al tipo no hay nadie arriba?
Yes, because he knows that they have
Claro, and so he's trying to cover the evidence. He's trying to hide the evidence. No?
Mhm.
And so he's very suspicious too. And then
Yes.
when the man comes down, he has disappeared. He ran away. No? So that's why now the only suspect is this white man that the sheriff doesn't know who could be. I mean, he's a mystery up to now. We know it is Lucas Birch, but the sheriff doesn't know. Okay?
Ah, yes.
So...
yes, for the sheriff is just a white man.
A white man. Nobody knows who he is. So, then, well, the sheriff asks, who lived in that cabin? Who lived in that cabin? Because there is a cabin, well, we know. Of course, to learn... Sorry? You said something? No?
No, I think it was your echo coming from...
Okay.
from one
Sorry.
place.
So, to learn who was living there, the sheriff calls a Negro. The Negro at the beginning doesn't want to say anything. He says, I don't know anything, I don't know anything. And so they take the Negro to the cabin and they hit him. They hit him. So finally, the Negro confesses that there were two white men living there, but that he doesn't know the names, etc., etc. So they finally learned that there were two people, two men, two white men living in the cabin. Okay, this is as far as they can learn now. So.
And sorry, but Lina is not living there, not now, but...
No, not now, later.
Not yet.
Later, Lina was living there.
Claro, but at that moment, the only two, well, before this...
No, Lina, no?
At this moment, no.
No, at this moment, no.
No.
Later.
Later, when Lina, when nobody's there in the cabin...
but
Byron takes her there because it is, I mean, a place where she could be safe. Away from all the gossip of the town, etc., and she has to wait for the baby. So Byron takes her there, but that happens later on.
Yes.
Not now.
Chapter 13.
Yes.
Chapter 13.
Chapter 13.
When?
So, now, when all these...
sorry.
Yes, Vane.
No, I was thinking that another possibility could be, or could have been, that perhaps Lucas Birch was trying to cover the situation because both of them perhaps killed them, because we don't know what happened from the moment Joe escaped and Birch's arrival in the house.
Exactly.
Perhaps they had plotted something, or we don't know.
We don't know
They
anything.
had worked together with their whiskey and everything, so we don't know if both of them were involved or just one.
Exactly. This is another possibility, because when we find Lucas Birch again, he's at the barber shop, and Joe is outside looking at him.
Yes.
So what happened from that night to the following morning is a mystery.
Yes,
Well,
what
it's-
caught my attention that I wanted to reread was that you said, maybe, no, I didn't read that part. Someone said that Joe had washed after killing her.
No,
Could it be? No.
no, before.
It was before.
Because
Okay.
that day, the night of the murder, when Joe arrives at his cabin, he finds a note. She has left him a note in a paper, right?
Mhm.
So he doesn't read the note, but he imagines that she wants him to go back to her bed to have sex. So he washes himself, he shaves himself, he dresses, no, and then he goes to visit her. But he doesn't imagine that she wants him to pray or to kill him. He thinks that she has gone back to her idea of having sex with him.
Mhm.
Pero, I mean,
Yes.
he never reads the note.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
So when the sheriff gets the information about
Miss,
Teresa,
and then people speak of Hitchcock as suspenso. The suspenso de Hitchcock.
But
yes.
you never know who killed this, no? Never. Never.
we never
sure.
we never know. We never know.
But I mean,
Never in the whole book,
In the whole
No.
or will we know?
No, never. Never.
no. I mean,
He's a sheriff. Para mí es el sheriff.
el sheriff. Claro, el mayordomo, como decían, ¿viste? ¿Quién fue el mayordomo?
Well, but these words crucified here, and you have been comparing him to Jesus and everything. Jesus was crucified being innocent of what he was accused of.
Well, so this is that's why I say there are many possibilities, and what we know, and this is what we are going to read in chapter 13 and 14, is that Joe feels guilty.
Is that Joe what?
Feels guilty. He feels guilty all the time, but
Bueno.
that is not enough.
Yeah, we don't know if he was guilty of the crime,
Claro,
of this murder.
claro.
Yes.
Because his mind is very confused. Now, this is what we are going to read. Now, when the sheriff goes back to town, no, this is what we are reading now. All the people go after him, no, because like in a procession, everybody goes after him, and this is like, all the people going after the sheriff to town. And at that moment, it says that the procession had to stop because there is a wagon that comes. This is the paragraph that begins, he returned to town.
What's the beginning?
Después de a white man, prácticamente una o dos hojas después.
Alicia, 317.
They were, ¿ya terminé?
He returned.
Sorry, 200?
17.
17, yes. He returned to town.
He returned to town, ¿sí?
Yes, I told it.
Ahí es cuando el sheriff vuelve. And in that paragraph, in the middle, more or less, it says, it was held up momentarily at a street intersection near the square by a country wagon which had stopped to let a passenger descend. Looking out, the sheriff saw a young woman climbing slowly and carefully down from the wagon. With that careful awkwardness.
It was Lina.
Yes.
Yes, that's the moment when she arrived.
Exactly. And here we have the intersection between the murder, Joe and Lucas and Lina. This is the moment that they crossed their paths, no? When she arrives. This is the moment when she arrives.
The intersection.
The intersection. And below in italics it says, to be opened at my death, Joanna Burden. This is the envelope that Joanna had left at the bank, yes, to be opened at her death with her instructions.
Is the will. It's a will.
Exactly. And the will and her instructions about her body, her money, etc. No? And there we learn that there is an heir, a nephew. The nephew is called Nathaniel Barrington. Fíjense al final está el nombre en italics. Nathaniel Barrington.
It was a nigger lawyer.
Claro, she had a nigger lawyer and a nephew. And the nephew has the same name as her grandfather.
Yes.
Nathaniel, again. But the surname is the correct surname, Barrington, not Burden.
Because they couldn't write their name, that's why.
That's why they changed to Burden. See? And so, if we think of a circle, no? The story, this family story starts with a Nathaniel who was Barrington, but he couldn't write the name, as Teresa said, so he became Burden, okay? Then he had the son, and the son had a daughter, and the daughter is Burden, Joanna Burden, but her nephew, again, closing the circle, is again Nathaniel Barrington, like the origin, okay? So the circle is closed, finally, in this family. There is again a Nathaniel Barrington. And this Nathaniel Barrington is the one who provides a reward, yes, to the one who discovers the murderer, no? And he...
One question. Sorry, one more. When was it that Joe Christmas saw Lucas Birch at the barber's?
After the murder. After he leaves the house.
It was the moment when he read a lot of stories from a magazine.
Claro. When Joe leaves the house, it is not here, it was before, he goes back to the cabin, he hits Lucas, no? You remember?
Yeah.
Lucas was
sorry, the time is over.
Yes. We meet again at 10 to 5. Yes, I'll send you another
10 to 5. Okay.
When Joe leaves the house,